Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. So, the question of the day is, what if the value you bring to work isn't the value that people actually see? So, what if the value you bring to work isn't the value that people actually see? Hello, everyone. So, for those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Lepore Lindsay, and I speak on all things workplace value and engagement. So, very excited to speak with you all on today, whether you are watching this live or catching the replay. I hope you'll let me know that you are tuning in because I absolutely love to hear from you. Okay, so the question of the day, we're talking about workplace value, which I consider to be the driver of engagement. And this is a question and a thought for today, especially on today when many of us are maybe taking a pause, reflecting, or just moving a little bit slower. We're in the spring, today is Easter, so there's a lot of reasons for us to take that breather. So this is a great time to kind of think on this a little bit. There's a lot of people that are doing great work right now and showing up, being reliable, being dependable, and really truly just getting things done. And yet and still feeling overlooked. This may be either something that you can relate to, or perhaps you have had a coworker who has expressed that they're doing all that they can, but they're still feeling like they are not seen. One of the things before we delve into this today is I want to stress is that it doesn't always mean that you're doing something wrong whenever you're feeling like you're being overlooked or your efforts aren't being seen. And that goes from the executive suite all the way down to entry level. It does not matter. I think that that's really important to stress. And the reason why it's not all the time that doesn't mean that you are the one that's doing something wrong is because it goes into what I like to refer to as a translation issue or a mistranslation, where sometimes your value at work isn't just about your value. It isn't just about what you do. It is also about how your work is seen and whether people can understand or see what you are capable of next. And that is what we are going to delve in on today. We're going to delve into going beyond the what people see us do and getting into how can we translate our actions in a way where they can perceive the value that we're doing and also see the potential that we have. But before we delve into that, I want to take a couple of steps back and I want to talk a little bit about engagement today because this is really important as I am like the whole topic today is, hey, this is about workplace value and engagement. So let's create that tie in there. So, one of the most important things to think about here is that when we look at engagement, and honestly, one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this topic of workplace value and it being the driver of engagement is because engagement is something that everyone plays a part in. And let me explain. So, when we look at workplace engagement, you see that we have the supervisors who are leading, who are designating, having these conversations with the people on their team for people to be engaged. And sometimes that engagement drops off. And there may be perhaps reasons for that. There may be constraints on your part. There may be what you are able to allow, what you are able to reward, what you are able to incentivize, which may be the reasons for those things. A lot of them being unknown to those that you work with. And then on the opposite side of that, we have the teammates or the individual contributors or the direct reports. You are the one who is the reporting to the supervisor and you're wanting your work to be seen, your efforts, your contributions, your actions to be seen as being engaging and thus being workplace value. And sometimes it is not seen in that way. And a big part of that is there's a gap here. And so I only we won't have time to delve into everything today, but I do want to cover something that I refer to as the value triad, which is really helpful for when we're looking at how workplace value can come with engagement. So the value triad is something that is inclusive of performance, perception, and potential. So the three P's: performance, perception, and potential. So, without delving too much into these today, but touching on them a little bit, we have performance. And the biggest thing about performance is that this is about the work that you do, the actions that you do that move the workplace forward, that moves the team forward, that moves the workplace ecosystem forward. We're talking about progress when we are talking about performance. And the biggest takeaway I would say for this is when we're talking about actions, you have actions that are performative and you have actions that are performant. And performative, very theatrical, it looks good, but it's not really leading anywhere. And then we have performant, which is more so based on these are the actions that are going to lead towards a desired outcome, not just for myself, but also for the team that I am a part of. And that's that biggest question there is how does what I do as a director, as an individual contributor, how does what I do move the team forward? And from the perspective of a supervisor, it is how am I evaluating my team in a way that is going to create an environment where people are going to want to continuously not be performative, but performant. And what am I allowing, rewarding, and incentivizing that creates that type of environment? So that's the performance. And then we look at perception, which is the second P. And perception, this is about um, what travels even when you are not in the room. What do people know about you? What do people see as being a valuable takeaway for you? So a couple of years ago, I was trying to figure out what are my colleagues seeing as being something useful that I do. And I just went around and I started asking. I started emailing some people. I started texting some people. I started calling some people. I started having one on one conversations. And my question was, what do you find to be the most useful thing that I have done for you or that I am currently doing for you? And y'all, that was eye opening. It was eye opening because what I thought was being the most useful thing, the most helpful thing, was in fact not. And if I'm honest, and I am, it hurt my ego a little bit because what I was spending so much time focusing in on those skills, on those abilities, I was like, this is what I need to focus in on. People did not find that to be valuable. But what they did find valuable, ironically enough, was something that I just kind of, I don't want to say threw out there, but I mean, yeah, I didn't really put a lot of thought into it. Right. But I say that because when we're talking about perception, one of the things that's really important to keep in mind is about this is what your colleagues see as being valuable. As a leader, this is what you are picking up as being valuable. And being able to ask those questions: what is valuable? What is valuable to me? And as a leader, what is valuable to me? Am I communicating this as an individual contributor? What do others find valuable? When professionals, teams are able to ask these types of questions, we can get answers that move past the assumptions. And then the last one we have is potential. And I know I'm moving through these really fast. I will, in the coming weeks, we'll talk about these a little bit more. But when we look at potential, potential is the third piece. So we talked about performance, we talked about um, perception, and now we're going to briefly touch on potential. So when we think about potential and how it affects engagement, how it affects workplace value, and what people have the ability to do, many times we refer to potential as being something that can be capped out at any point. As in, oh, I've reached my full potential, or when I get into this position, I will have reached my potential, or I am currently living in my potential. And I think of it as an energy source that is consistently moving. So, case in point, and this is a story that I occasionally share, and I think it would be, I think it's right to share it here as well. So, to keep it short, I had a car, and the first time I filled up this car, the gas mileage or the gas gauge read 320 miles. And every time I filled it up, that's exactly what it said, 320 miles. Well, then one day, my family and I moved across country, and the terrains changed, the weather changed, the habits, routines, all of it changed. And so the next time I filled up that car, the exact same car, the exact same gas tank. Do y'all know what that gas tank said or the gas gauge read? 408 miles. So it was the exact same car, the exact same gas type, the exact same gas gauge, but the potential had increased. And the potential increased because what I was doing in that moment had changed. And so I look at potential as being something that is continuously going through an influx or a fluctuation, where if we are doing if we have healthy habits and we are being consistent and we're taking action, then our potential, it starts to increase to do some things that maybe we don't even realize we're capable of. But the more we cut back and we hold ourselves back, and we not just run into obstacles, but we allow those obstacles to hold us back, then our potential can also decrease. So it's constantly changing depending on what we are doing. And so the reason why I've shared with you the value triad today is for two reasons. Number one, when we look at engagement, engagement is how our contributions, efforts, and actions in the workplace become valuable, otherwise known as workplace value. It has absolutely nothing to do with the value that you hold outside of this role. And so that's the first reason I share that with you. The second reason why I shared about the workplace value or the value triad, sorry, I'm getting a little tongue twisted here, is because it is so important to recognize that the actions that we do, while they can be some great actions, it's also important to realize that the value that we bring in the workplace goes beyond just what we do. It also touches into perception, and it also touches into potential. What do people see you as being capable of? So I know that was a lot that we've covered today. And as you are maybe watching the replay, or even if you're watching it now and you have questions, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what questions you have, what comments you have. They're always helpful. They're always great to hear. And I one of the things I also wanted to mention is that I absolutely love and enjoy partnering with teams and leaders to help make engagement and workplace value more visible across the board. And so, if anything that I've said today is something that you would like to delve into more depth, or even some of the things that I've covered over the last 9 months, if it's something that you want to delve further into, reach out. Let's have a conversation. I would be honored to be a speaker or a workshop facilitator, delving more into the value triad and some other aspects as well. All right, y'all. I know that this is a laid back Sunday for so very many of you. So I want to give you back your time. And if you were catching the replay and you have a question, you'd be like, oh, I really want to ask you that question. Ask the question. I would love to, if I don't get a chance to, which I won't get a chance to answer it today, but maybe the next time that I go live, it could be something that I can bring up the question and the answer. But I absolutely enjoyed this time. And I hope that you all remember that with engagement and in everything you do, remember to stay adding value. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye.